There you go. But the foul Propoides dared to deny the divinity of Venus. In consequence of this, through the wrath of the goddess, they are said to have been the first to prostitute their bodies and their fame, and as their shame vanished and the blood of their faces hardened, they were turned with but small change to hard stones.
Right.
Pygmalion.
So you get the game that's going on here with this is a petrification story because of sexual wrong, followed immediately by Pygmalion, whose devotion to Galatea is perfectly innocent and perfectly good-hearted, and then we have an opposite of petrification story with a stone then turning to real flesh. So this is kind of back and forth that our poet Ovid loves to do. Sunt hominum scaenae venerem propoitides ausae esse negare deam, pro quo sua numinis ira corpora conforma primae vulgasse feruntur, utque pudor cessit sanguis quinduruit oris, in rigidum parvo silicem discrimine versae.
Mm-hmm. Pygmalion had seen these women spending their lives in shame, and disgusted with the faults which in such full measure nature had given the female mind, he lived unmarried, and long was without a partner of his couch.
Quas quia Pygmalion aevum per crimina gentis viderat, offensus vitiis, quae plurimamenti feminae natura dedit, sine conjuge, cae leps, vivebat salamique diu consorte carebat.
Meanwhile, with wondrous art, he successfully carves a figure out of snowy ivory, giving it a beautiful more perfect than that of any woman. Excuse me, let me start over. Meanwhile, with wondrous art, he successfully carves a figure out of snowy ivory, giving it a beauty more perfect than that of any woman ever born. And with his own work, he falls in love. The face is that of a real maiden, whom he would think living and desirous of being moved, if modesty did not prevent. So does his art conceal his art.
Interea niveon mira feliciter arte, sculpsit ebur, formamque dedit, qua femina nasci, nulla potest, operisque sui concepit amorem. Virginis est verae facies, qua vivere credas, et si non obstet reverentia velle moveri. Ars adeo latet arte sua, miratur et haurit, pectore Pygmalion simulati corporis innes.
Pygmalion looks in admiration and is inflamed with love for the semblance of a form. Often he lifts his hands to the work to try whether it be flesh or ivory, nor does he yet confess it to be ivory. He kisses.
Dude, it's ivory. Dude, it's ivory. Go back. I'm just being obnoxious. Go back and do it
again. Okay. Pygmalion looks in admiration and is inflamed with love for the semblance of a form. Often he lifts his hands to the work to try whether it be flesh or ivory, nor does he yet confess it to be ivory. He kisses it and thinks his kisses are returned. He speaks to it, grasps it, and seems to feel his fingers sink into the limbs when he touches them. And then he fears lest he leaves marks of bruises on them.
Saepe manus operi temptantes admoet ansit corpus anillud ebur, nec ad huc ebur esse fatetur. Osculadat, redique putat, loquiturque tenetque, et credit actis digitos insidere membris, et metuit bressos veneat me livor in artus. Poor James Cantor is trying to have a discussion on the net as to whether sex dolls are okay or not. but I think we're like well beyond. We're operating at a higher aesthetic level here. I think, Todd.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Now he addresses it with fond words of love. Now brings it gifts pleasing to girls, shells and smooth pebbles, little birds and many-hued flowers, and lilies and colored balls, with tears of the Heliads that drop down from the trees. He drapes its limbs also with robes, puts gemmed rings upon its fingers, and a long necklace around its neck. Pearls hang from the ears, and chains adorn the breast. All these are beautiful, but no less beautiful is the statue unadorned. He lays it on a bedspread with coverlets of Tyrian hue, calls it the consort of his couch, and rests its reclining head upon soft downy pillows, as if it could enjoy them.
The tears of the Heliads thing, I think it's amber, like there's a cut in a tree, and a yellow sap pours out, and it coagulates into a yellow hard gemstone like amber. These are said to be the tears of the daughters of the sun, which is corny. Et modo blanditias adhibet, moto grata puellis, munera fert illi, concas terretesque lapillos, et parvas volucres, et flores mille coloro, liliaque pictasque pilas, et ab arbore lapsas, heliadon lacrimas. Ornat quoque vestibus artus, dat digitis gemmas, dat longa monilia collo, aure leves bacae, redemicula pectore pendent, cuncta decent, nec nuda minus formosa videtur, collocat hanc stratis concasi donide tintis, appellatque torris ocia clinataque colla, mollibus in plumis tanquam censura reponit.
And now the festal day of Venus had come, which all Cyprus thronged to celebrate. Heifers with spreading horns covered with gold had fallen neath the death stroke on their snowy necks, and the altars smoked with incense. Pygmalion, having brought his gift to the altar, stood and falteringly prayed. If ye, O gods, can give all things, I pray to have as wife, he did not dare add, my ivory maid, but said, one like my ivory maid.
Festa dies veneris, tota celeberrima cupro, venerat et pandis inductae cornibus aurum, considerant dictae nive acer vice juvencae. Turraque fumabant, communere functus ad arras, constituit et timide, si didere cuncta potestis, sit coniunc sopto, non ausus, eburnea virgo, dicere Pygmalion, similis mea, dixit, eburnae.
But golden Venus, for she herself was present at her feast, knew what that prayer meant. And as an omen of her favoring deity, thrice did the flame burn brightly and leap high in the air. When he returned, he sought the image of his maid, and bending over the couch, he kissed her. She seemed warm to his touch. Again he kissed her, and with his hands also he touched her breast. The ivory grew soft to his touch, and, its hardness vanishing, gave and yielded beneath his fingers, as Hymettian wax grows soft under the sun, and, molded by the thumb, is easily shaped to many forms, and becomes usable through use itself.
Sensit, ut ipsa suis aderat Venus aurea festis, vota quid illa velint, et amici numenes omen, flamma terra cinsas tapicemque pera eraduxit. Ut repit, simulacra suae petitille puellae, incumbensque turro deditoscula, visa te perest, ad moet os iterum, manibus quoque pectora temptat, temptatum molle scitebur, positoque rigore, subsidit digitis, cedit quod humetia sole, cer remolle scit, tractataque pollice multas, flectitur in facies, ipsoque fit utilis usu.
The love stands amazed, rejoiced. Excuse me.
Lover.
Start over. Yeah. The lover stands amazed, rejoices still in doubt, fears he is mistaken, and tries his hopes again and yet again with his hand. Yes, it was real flesh. The veins were pulsing beneath his testing finger.
Dum stupet et dubie gaudet, fallique veretur, rursus amans, rursusque manu sua vota retractat. Corpus erat, saliunt temptatae pollice venae.
Then did the Paphian hero pour out copious thanks to Venus, and again, pressed with his lips, real lips at last, the maiden felt the kisses, blushed, and lifting her timid eyes up to the light, she saw the sky and her lover at the same time. The goddess graced with her presence the marriage she had made, and ere the 9th moon had brought her crescent to the full, a daughter was born to them, Paphos, from whom the island takes its name.
Tum vero Papius, plenissima concipit heros, verba, quibus veneri gratis agat, ora quetandem, ore suo non falsa premit, data quoscula virgo, sensit et rubuit timidumque ad lumina lumen, at tollens parter concaelo vidit amantem. Conjugio quod fecit adest Dea, iamque coactis, cornibus in plenum noviens lunaribus orbem, illa papum genuit, de qua tenet insula nomen.